So what is your ideal body image? Is it to tone up, be a bodybuilder, look athletic, lose some fat? No matter what it is, there are 4 pillars of health and fitness that you need to accomplish, not perfect, but do well to get there. All right, so 1 is exercise, the other is attitude, recovery, and also nutrition. So for this video, we're gonna be talking about exercise. And I'm gonna give you some excellent ways that you can cut fat and tone up quickly. So cardio, I get a lot of questions about cardio. What type of cardio should I be doing? Should I be at a certain heart rate, HIIT training, or steady state? Should I do it for 30 minutes, an hour, 20 minutes? All of those are great questions. I'm gonna give you the best way that I've seen success with my clients, coaching them, get into their goals. All right, and that's through both steady state and HIIT training, high intensity interval training. Okay, so the first thing I want you guys to do is to calculate your target heart rate zones. And the way to do that, we're gonna use the Karvonen formula. It's the most accurate way to do it without going to a laboratory and getting tested. Okay, so you take the number 220, then subtract your age from that number, okay? Once you get that, you're gonna get your resting heart rate. So let's back up a little bit. Let's talk about resting heart rate. Resting heart rate. The most accurate time to get your resting heart rate is when you first wake up, okay? We're gonna do the radial heart rate. So 2 fingers right here on the base of the thumb. You calculate that for 60 seconds. So whatever number you get for 60 seconds, could be anywhere from 40 to 100. Hopefully it's towards the lower end. That'll be your resting heart rate. You can also time that number in 30 seconds. You can get that number in 30 seconds, just multiply it by 2. So whichever is more convenient by you, or get it in 15 seconds, multiply by 4. Of course, doing it for the full 60 seconds will be the most accurate. Now that we have that resting heart rate number, we're going to factor that into your training zones. And to find your ideal training zones, you're going to use the Karvonen formula. Okay, so in order to do that, you take 220 minus your age. Once you get that number, you subtract your resting heart rate from that number. All right, so now that you have that number, you multiply it by, we're gonna start with zone 1, which is our baseline cardio, which is gonna be between 65 to 75% of your maximum heart rate. 220 minus your age, subtract your resting heart rate, multiply that number by 65% to 75%. Once you multiply by 65 to 75%, then you finally add in your resting heart rate, all right? Don't forget, add in the resting heart rate after you multiply by 65 to 75%. And that is our zone 1 training. Zone 1 training is important. You have to do it. Everyone has to do it, especially if you're just starting off with weight loss goals, performance, no matter what it is, you need zone 1 training. That is going to help you build up your oxygen consumption. Training in zone 1 will help build that up. So you're using more oxygen, building up your lung capacity, burning more fat in the long term. Okay, so zone 1, 65 to 75% of your maximum heart rate. You want to be in zone 1 for about 30 minutes at least, okay? This is a great way to burn fat. In this zone 1, you're going to be using predominantly fat for energy, which is great because that's what you want to burn, right? Fat. Over time though, you can plateau. So one way to kind of push that plateau off is by increasing the duration. So going from 30 to 40, 45, 60 minutes. And also increasing the frequency. So instead of doing twice a week, 3 times a week, you go to 4 or 5 times a week. There's only so many hours in a week, right? So many hours in a day, so much time in a week. So at a certain point, you'll have to take that into interval training. So doing your steady state in zone 1 and then incorporating zone 2 training.